I don't care what position that you play, whether you're in the NFL or the NBA. I don't care how talented that you are. You could be the top player in the league at your position. The one thing that 99% of head coaches are not going to tolerate is insubordination and locker room disruptions. It doesn't matter if it's a 53-man locker room in the NFL or a 14, 15-player roster in the NBA. One player has the ability to infect an entire locker room, cause tension, destroy the entire team. We have seen it happen too many times. Dwight Howard is a prime example of this. Dwight Howard was once one of the most dominant centers in the NBA. And because he's become a running joke the past 7 or 8 years, people forget how great Dwight Howard was back in the late 2000s. The dude was unstoppable. Now, back problems had a part in derailing his career, but that was not the main problem. The main problem with Dwight Howard was the size of his ego, and he could not get along with his teammates. He was a locker room cancer. And once you develop that reputation, it is hard to wipe off that stain. Which is the reason that Dwight Howard has spent the last 8 or so years hopping around the NBA from one team to the other. He destroyed the locker room in Orlando his final season with the Magic. Then he was traded to the Lakers, ruined that locker room. Same in Houston, Atlanta. I mean, they threw a party in Atlanta when the Hawks traded Dwight Howard. I bring all of this up because Saints wide receiver Michael Thomas is at a crossroads in his career right now. There is no argument to be made. Michael Thomas is the best wide receiver in the NFL. If you don't believe me, just ask Michael Thomas himself. He will tell you. He was medically cleared to play Monday night against the Chargers. Now, to say that the Saints need him on the field would be an understatement. More specifically, Drew Brees needs Michael Thomas on the field. The offense is completely different when Michael Thomas is out. Emmanuel Sanders, he's a great receiver, but having Michael Thomas on the field, it opens everyone else up. Jared Cook, Alvin Kamara, Emmanuel Sanders, Deontay Harris. Because Michael Thomas is unguardable. It doesn't matter if the defense is in zone, man, double team, doesn't matter. On his career, Michael Thomas is catching 78% of his passes. Last season, he caught 81%. He was targeted 185 times, caught 81% of his passes. He was targeted on 32% of the Saints' passing plays. That is a huge number. He was the most used receiver in the NFL. Julio Jones in Atlanta, he was second with 157 targets, just to put Michael Thomas's number in perspective. Now, besides injury, there is only one thing that can derail the career of Michael Thomas, and that's his attitude, his ego, his demeanor, his locker room behavior. But Casey, that's 4 things. It is, but they're all really the same thing. In case you didn't know, Michael Thomas got into a physical altercation with Saints corner C.J. Gardner-Johnson in practice. He reportedly punched him in the face. He felt disrespected. Now, fights amongst teammates, this is not uncommon in the NFL. This happens all the time. So, if this were a one-off, a one-time occurrence, it wouldn't be that big of a deal. And to be honest, I doubt Sean Payton would have sat Michael Thomas Monday night against the Chargers if this were just a one-time occurrence. Apparently, the fight was the straw that broke the camel's back. There's a pattern of diva-like behavior, for lack of a better word, with Michael Thomas that's been going on. And Sean Payton decided that he had to do something about it to get his star receiver's attention. There are reports that Michael Thomas has been difficult behind the scenes in New Orleans. He's been combative with teammates, insubordination with the coaching staff, talking back to and disrespecting Sean Payton. Now, is all of this 100% true? There's really no way for us to know. The Saints are notorious for being tight-lipped when it comes to personnel or internal issues. In most cases, though, where there's smoke, there's fire. At 2-2, with the top spot in the NFC South up for grabs Monday night, I find it hard to believe that Sean Payton sat his best offensive player for a small fight, one infraction. I believe the reports that this has been an ongoing issue with Michael Thomas. Many Saints fans have come to the defense of Michael Thomas, saying that this is just one mistake. He's been in New Orleans going on 5 years, never been a problem, which is true. It's true, but if you look back at the history of the NFL and some of the problem players, it didn't happen overnight. It didn't happen immediately. It was something that slowly progressed over time. Take Terrell Owens, for example. He didn't begin showing signs of problems until his 5th year in the NFL. It was subtle at first. He had those 2 celebrations at midfield in Dallas after scoring 2 touchdowns. The one where he posed midfield on the Cowboys star. Michael Thomas. He's also had some high-profile celebrations. Back in 2018, he copied the Joe Horn celebration where he took the cell phone from under the goalpost. Now, some people might not consider this a big deal, and it might not be. However, it gives off the perception that the player is putting himself or his antics above the rest of the team. It's attention-seeking behavior. I guess that would be the psychology community's term for it. Look at the pattern of Terrell Owens after his double celebration in Dallas back in 2000. The next season, after a loss to the Bears, he calls out Steve Mariucci, who was his head coach at the time, after the Niners blow a 19-point lead and lose in overtime. We all know about the issues that he had in Philadelphia. He threw Donovan McNabb under the bus after they lost in the Super Bowl. Hell, he divided the entire locker room in Philadelphia. It was quarterback versus receiver, with the rest of the roster choosing sides. After that, Terrell Owens ended his career on 3 different teams in 5 years. His antics started to overshadow his talent. The same thing happened with Antonio Brown. He was in the league 8 years before problems started to emerge. It all started in January 2017 when he filmed the Steelers celebrating in the locker room after their divisional round playoff win against the Chiefs. This came after the fact that Big Ben, the leader of the team, had asked Antonio Brown to lay low on social media. And the issues with Antonio Brown in Pittsburgh just escalated from there, especially between him and Ben Roethlisberger. They had a confrontation in practice in December 2018 with the Steelers fighting for their playoff lives in that season. Antonio Brown just decided that he was going to skip practice the rest of the week. After that, ended up in Oakland, where it was a disaster from the beginning. AB made a huge fuss in May of 2019 because he did not like his helmet. His damn helmet. Long story short, he never touched the field in a Raiders uniform. Played 1 game with the Patriots and has been out of the NFL ever since. Now, could the same fate be awaiting Michael Thomas in New Orleans? No one knows but him. But you can make the argument that the pattern of behavior has begun. And listen, this isn't just a wide receiver thing either. We've seen it with Earl Thomas, Le'Veon Bell. We saw it with Michael Vick in Atlanta. In every case, the biggest enemy of these elite players rests in their own minds. They are their own worst enemy. I thought Sean Payton was smart in how he handled the Michael Thomas situation. He didn't suspend him, which could have impacted the guaranteed money on his contract, which would have embroiled the Saints in a battle with Michael Thomas and the NFL Players Association. Sean Payton simply sat him against the Chargers, fined him close to $60,000. Obviously, he had to do something to get his attention, to lay down the law, so to speak, and to send a message to the rest of the locker room that this type of behavior is not going to be tolerated. If your coach is willing to set the best player on the team to make a point, what do you think he's going to do if someone like Marcus Williams or Latavius Murray gets out of line? Like I said, it's going to be up to Michael Thomas which path he chooses. He can go the path of Jerry Rice, Marvin Harrison, Larry Fitzgerald, and stay humble, continue to work hard. And look, no one doubts Michael Thomas's work ethic. He's a machine. He goes 100% in practice. He goes 100% on the field. Now, he can choose that path and have a long Hall of Fame worthy career, or he can choose the path of Terrell Owens, Antonio Brown, maybe even Randy Moss. All world talents who derailed their careers with their antics, their attitude, their behavior. Now, sure, Terrell Owens and Randy Moss are Hall of Famers, but what could their careers have been if they had just kept their mouth shut, kept their attitudes in check? I'm willing to give Michael Thomas the benefit of the doubt and consider that this is just a one-time mistake. Time is going to tell if that's the case. All right, that's all for today. Hit that like and subscribe button for me. Click the notification bell to receive all notifications from the channel. Leave me a comment in the section below. This incident with Michael Thomas in New Orleans, is this a one-time mistake, or do you think that this is a pattern of behavior that's developing? Is he heading down the path of Terrell Owens and Antonio Brown? Let me know your thoughts. You can follow me on Twitter at KC_BTL84. If you have any questions, a topic you'd like me to discuss, you can email me at BTLKC84@gmail.com. I'll see you guys next time.